First off, when did you know that it had to be rock and roll for you as a career?
I think by the time I was 14, maybe 15, around the time America was getting barraged by the Beatles in the first British invasion, I knew that was it.
Was there one particular event? Was it like the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, or any one thing that stands out?
Yeah, it was. I would say it was that, or I had this teeny Japanese radio, and I heard "I Want to Hold Your Hand" on that for the first time, and their music was just made for small speakers and radios, and it just had to be that for me. I kind of lost interest in the other things I was thinking about, whether it be school, after school activities. It was real important to start getting a kind of career mode in mind in college and things like that, and it just became really secondary to me, and I wanted to be in a rock and roll band.
To take that one step farther, had you not had the success that you've had, what do you think you might be doing today if your career as a professional musician hadn't worked out?
There were two things I had in mind. I wanted to be a teacher. I did go to college for 4 years in a 2-year school, and I was a history major, art minor, and I wanted to be a teacher, or I think I would have probably been a car mechanic, because I was really into high-performance cars, and that really interested me quite a bit.
Did you buy a lot of albums as a kid?
I bought a lot of singles. Honestly, the albums had to be, I had to have heard an album through someone else and really know that I would love the album, because in those days, even now, I seem to be always disappointed in albums. I'd find 2 or 3 out of 10 songs that were good, and feel that I've kind of didn't spend my money wisely. So a big singles collector I was.
How about concerts? Did you go to a lot of concerts?
I didn't go to a lot. I went to a few. I heard a lot from outside the concert arena, because I either couldn't or wouldn't spend the money. I saw the Stones in '65, which was really heavy.
Can you tell me about that show?
Yeah, it was the day I was supposed to get a haircut, and my hair was getting pretty long, kind of like Brian Jones. It was straight, even, straighter. And I was supposed to get a haircut. It was going to be short. I knew it was going to be a short one. My dad told me, it was going to be a killer haircut. But it was the night of the Stones concert, so he wanted to cut before the concert. And when it was dinner time, I told him I was going. I told him I was leaving, and I ran out the front door and hitchhiked to the concert. Saw the Stones. Met this girl that I had a crush on there, and I stayed out till about 4 in the morning, and that was pretty serious at 15 years old.
What other memorable concerts growing up?
I think probably Humble Pie was a big one for me. I saw them about three nights in a row. I think I saw them Buffalo. Then I saw them in Rochester. Then I followed them to Syracuse, because I was a big Pie fan, and so was Bruce here.
Mm-hmm. Was this when Frampton was still in the band?
No, it was just after he left. But I think the album with Frampton on it was the one that turned me on to the Pie.
Was that live Rockin' the Fillmore?
I think it was Eat It.
It was before that. No, it was the one that had The Light and all those songs. Oh, no, it was actually the one that had Live With Me and the Earth and Water song and all that.
That's not the one we saw when they were touring.
No, they saw him after that.
Yeah. It was with 30 Days in a Hole. and
Clemson was playing that.
Yeah. Smoking.
Smoking, that's the one, yeah. That's the one. And then in, 72, I think it was, we piled in a Volkswagen, 3 of us, and drove from Rochester to New York City to see Free at the Academy of Music. And as it turned out, it was their last concert as the original 4-piece band. And it was, I feel really lucky to have seen them, because they were great.
Was it the vocalists? I mean, you picked 2 groups with very distinctive vocalists, and you being a vocalist, with Steve Marriott and what was that? What drew you to these bands? You think?
I think it was maybe that was a part of it, but I think it was the cohesiveness as a band and kind of the grittiness and the real intensity of their playing that was special. Kind of they were very sexually motivated bands, you know, and it was pretty heavy to see what they did to little girls. And that was pretty exciting at the time.
Well, the same could be said for Foreigner. How is that same thing from your perspective now?
You know, with all due respect to Foreigner, I think those bands had a little something different. I think it was a different era too. I think probably Foreigner at this point tends to get that kind of reaction from touching hearts with very sensitive ballads and different mood changes and stuff. What I was drawn to in those years with those bands was something entirely different.
What was it? Maybe you could fill us in on what was involved with going from being a spectator to a participant in music, and forming your first band.
I think it was just emulating other people at first, but always with the inclination to do something and make a sound and a style of my own. You know, when I was growing up, by the time kids graduated from high school or maybe into college, if they hadn't gotten a break, which very few did, it was time to sell the instruments and get married and have a family and actually get down to living life. I think I was a little more persistent and aggressive than that, and I found playing in top 40 bands very unstimulating and unsatisfying. And when most of the kids were ready to hang up their instruments, I was just taking the next step to form an original band. That's when I hooked up with Bruce, and we got the spark to make a Black Sheep or whatever we wanted to put together, something different. And Bruce was involved pretty much from that point on in my life, you know, with music.
Well, this would be directed to both of you. Going to Black Sheep, you guys are pretty lucky. I mean, you made 2 records as Black Sheep, though they had limited success. How did you land those record deals, and how'd you feel when you got it?
It was just a lot of work. Took a lot of grinding to get there. It wasn't. It was a basic garage band story, playing the clubs, hacking it out, and everything else. So we sent demo tape after demo tape, pass, and finally someone, it's the same old story. Someone saw us and gave us the big break and everything.
Well, I think we opened for Procol Harum when they were coming through town, and in those days. The headlining act would just take a local act to open for them, and we were spotted by their manager, who ended up being a vice president at Chrysalis Records. That was Derek Sutton, and
just when they were opening up here.
Yeah, and that kind of sparked the interest, and we got our first record deal as the first American band to be signed by Chrysalis Records.
When the record was done and ready to be released, did you feel like, oh, we've made it now, there's our picture on the cover?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, actually.
Surprise.
Yeah, but after years of bashing it out in the clubs, to be able to see a piece of vinyl with your name on it and your creations and everything, you have to feel that way. There would be no other point in going at it otherwise. It was, but you realize very quickly that although you might have reached a plateau as far as the local bands are concerned, you end up at the bottom of the heap of the recording group. So it's a whole different ballgame from that point
Just
on.
to be kings in your own city is terrific. After people, you know, not kind of paying attention to you or not kind of getting the respect in your own hometown, then suddenly it's like, they did it. How'd they do it? Yeah. Wow, maybe they are all right, you know.
And then, of course, after you're successful, they all talk about how they were the first to discover you, and they were there every night supporting you in the club.
Yeah, we had some diehard followers. It was really good. I think it was just the respect of our peers locally, you know, because we were different than they were, and we did it and they didn't.